In this video, I'll show you how to combine low-cost LED bulbs and flash in a small home studio. Hello, I'm Gavin Hoey and you're watching Adorama TV, brought to you by Adorama, the camera store that's got everything for us photographers. Now, normally when I'm shooting in my small home studio, the lighting I use is some kind of flash. It's really versatile, it's really bright, much brighter than the LEDs that I'm using right now to light me. But today I'm actually going to do a shoot where I'm balancing flash and LED. The LEDs are actually going to be these little small household LED bulbs. My first problem is it's not very bright, certainly not compared to flash, but luckily I've got quite a lot of them. So I need to balance the exposure to get the look I'm after, and then I've got other problems like, are they the same white balance? Will that work with flash? Well, there's only one way to find out. That's to finish the styling here, then we'll get a light set, get a model in and get shooting. So to help me out today, I've got the amazing Gracie. Gracie's going to be the model for this, and as you can see, I've turned my studio into this sort of behind the scenes dressing room sort of look here, and that's what we're going to use for the shot. But what about the lighting? Well, for this I'm going to combine lighting types, but my theory is always if the ambient light is good enough, use that. Well, the ambient light for this shot is actually going to come from the mirror itself, which I've put all these little light bulbs around, and these are giving really good light. So maybe before I add in the flash, I should see how it looks with just the ambient light. Okay, let's take a few shots. I need to turn off this light. That's lovely, and if you can look into the reflection of yourself, so you're going to stare straight into your own reflection, that's great. These ambient light only shots look really good, but there is a couple of things to consider. First of all, I've got no control over the spread of the light, so it's bouncing all around my studio, lighting everything up, and that's being reflected in the mirror, so it limits where I can shoot. Next, Gracie can only face the mirror. The moment she turns around and looks away from the mirror, then no light reaches her face and this shot doesn't work. So that's where I'm going to use flash to make this shot better. Now, if I was shooting on location, I'd try and work out the ambient exposure, underexpose a little bit, and then fill with flash. And that's exactly what I'm going to do in this scenario. The ambient light today is the light bulbs. So let's try and figure that exposure out first. I'm going to switch to manual mode. I'm going to dial in an aperture of f2.8 wide open on this lens, and let's go with my flash sync speed 250th of a second with a nice low ISO of 100. So at those settings I've got some detail inside the light bulbs and a little bit of detail in the surrounding area too. At this point I need to think about colour. According to the box these LED bulbs came in, they have a colour temperature of around about 2700K. Now, if I shoot at 2700K, that means they'll produce white light. But that's not the look I'm going for. I want that warm tone, so I'm going to increase my camera's white balance to 4700K, which gives that nice warm tone to the bulbs. So for the flash, I'm using the Xplor 400, and it's in a long, thin Stripbox. I want to work out the light. I'm shooting at f2.8, so I'm hoping that's what it's going to be. Let's just take a test reading. I'm going to pop this onto your chin. And my flash meters at f2.8, so I'm good to go. Let's take a test shot, see how this looks. So again, if you can look straight ahead. Flash produces light that has a colour temperature that's around about 5600K, but I'm shooting at 4700K, which means my flash is, in effect, slightly blue in tone. I could just increase my white balance to match the flash, but then the bulbs would become even more orange in colour. But in this case, what I'd like to do is try and balance the colour of my light bulbs with the colour of the flash. Now, I can't change the light bulbs, so I'm going to change the flash with a little bit of gel that I'll slide in front of the flash to make that a warmer tone of colour, closer matching the light bulbs. So that's the lighting in place, but it's worth remembering with this setup, Gracie can't look towards the mirror because, well, we've exposed for her face being lit by flash, so she has to keep looking in this direction. We'll get a reverse shot where she's looking in the mirror in a minute, because that is a bit more tricky. Let's get some shots like this. Gracie, are you ready? Okay, here we go. So can you stretch your legs out and stretch yourself back? That's it. Okay, let's give you something to interact with. Pick a prop. It's got to be that one, isn't it? The reason I'm using a Stripbox for this setup is purely down to controlling the spread of the light. Now, if you don't have a Stripbox, you could get broadly the same effect by using a standard softbox and making it appear thinner with a couple of flags or V-flats. So what if we want Gracie looking into the mirror? How can I light with the LEDs and flash? Well, it takes a little bit more work, but it is possible. So what I've got now is an Xplor 200 with a snoot, and that's important because I'm going to fire light and just hit this mirror area. The light will bounce off the mirror and into Gracie's face. It does need a bit of precise adjusting, and you might find that some of the pictures work and others don't. But the basic principle is exactly the same as before. Work out the exposure for the ambient and then add in the flash. So I've got the flash set up. I'm shooting at f2.8. Let's just take a test meter reading, see what we get. I'm going to pop this where Gracie's face will be, and I'm getting f2.8. So we're good to go. Let's take a test shot and see how this looks. So Gracie, if you can look into the mirror for me. And that looks absolutely great. Okay, let's take some pictures like this. The snoot also has the same orange gel stuck on the front, and as a bit of a bonus, it gives a lovely hair light to separate Gracie from the background, which was a little bit of a happy accident. Well, no shoot would be complete in my studio if I didn't add some smoke, and I think in this scene it would add some really great atmosphere. Now for this to work, I'm going to use both lights. So I'm back to having my key light in the Stripbox, and I've still got the eVOLV 200, but this time I've got a much wider beam of light. First of all, make sure that your lights are right before you add the smoke, because once it's in the room, it's really hard to take it away. Let's take a test picture. Here we go. And that's going to look absolutely amazing. So let's get Sam in, let's get some smoke going, let's do a shoot. Gracie, are you ready? Okay. Have some this side of the dresses as well. That's it. There you go. That's what we want it. That's better. Okay, Gracie, that's great. Let's grab you a prop. What I love about smoke is it makes my shoots a little bit unpredictable, and that's really exciting. But to get the very best out of smoke, be prepared to quickly adjust your camera settings or your flash settings as you're going along. I often joke that smoke in my small home studio makes everything look better, but today it really did look good, especially when it was combined with these 4-watt LED bulbs. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, leave me a comment below, and of course, click on the subscribe button. To get all the notifications of the brand new videos right here on Adorama TV, click on the bell icon. I'm Gavin Hoey. Thanks for watching.